Let us discuss about the solubility of a solid in liquid. So what do you mean by here the term exists that is called solubility. Solubility means that the maximum amount of a solute that can be dissolved in a specified amount of solvent at a specified temperature, that is going to called as the solubility. I mean the solubility of the solids in liquids, we are going to call this how the solids which will be going to dissolve, I mean which is going to be soluble in liquid, that is the term we are going to call as solubility of a solid in liquids. And here mainly two terms will be existence here. One is called saturated solution, another is called unsaturated solution. Let us define here a solution in which no more solute which can be dissolved at the same temperature and pressure, that is going to called saturated solution. I mean it has no more capacity to dissolve some more particles in the solvent, that is called the saturated, means which don't have capacity to dissolve further, you can tell in simple word, that is called saturated solution. When you are going to add a sugar into a solvent, that is called water, what happens at the furthermost range of that, all the particles, sugar particles will dissolve in the water. If you keep on adding further sugar into the water, what happens? That sugar, remaining sugar which is not going to dissolve in the water because that capacity is over, right? So if you still adding, what happens? That sugar will settle down at the bottom of that surface of that container, right? So that is called saturated solution. What about the unsaturated solution? It's opposite to this saturated solution, in which more solute can be dissolved at the same temperature and pressure, that is going to call unsaturated solution. In a single word, it has a capacity, still more capacity, it has a capacity to dissolve still more particles, that is called unsaturated. So adding a 1 spoon of an sugar to a cup of hot coffee, that produces the unsaturated solution. So these are the terms which are very important where in the soluble of the liquids of the solids. So here this is a simple definitions, and the solubility of solid is in liquid, which is mainly affected by these parameters. So these parameters are very important. So first one is the nature of solute and solvent. What do you mean by this? How the nature of this concept, how it is going to affect on this solubility of a solid in liquid. You know that simple salt and sugar, right? Both they are dissolved in water, right? So I take an example. NaCl, which is going to dissolve simply in water, right? HOH. Whether this NaCl can dissolve in benzene ring? Can dissolve in the benzene ring? No. In benzene ring, this NaCl salt which is not going to dissolve. Okay. If I take the damper balls, right? So when you are going to keep it in the bathrooms and some clothes, right? That is called damper. Naphthalene. You know this naphthalene. But naphthalene and anthracene both are going to dissolve in the benzene, but not in water. What is the reason? That is called nature of a solute. So this nature of this solute, this salt, which is going to dissolve in this water because of the polar solute, which are going to dissolve in polar solvents. What about the naphthalene? Naphthalene, you know this one? It's a double benzene ring, right? Where is a triple benzene ring? That is called anthracene. This double benzene ring, this is called non-polar. This non-polar solute, which is going to dissolve in non-polar solvents. So that is called the nature of a solute, and nature of solute is very important. Second one, that is called temperature. So how the temperature which is going to affect on the solubility of solid. So let's discuss here. You know one term exists in temperature, that is called dissolution. Dissolution is nothing but the complete soluble of the solid solute in a solvent, that is called a dissolution. And here in a saturated solution, dissolution is endothermic. Endothermic means, so this is the relation, delta H, that is greater than 0. This is called endothermic. What do you mean with this endothermic? Endothermic means acquiring some amount of heat, then what happens, the surrounding temperature will decreases because it is going to acquire some heat. What about the exothermic? Exothermic means that is called delta H is less than 0. So it indicates that exothermic. Exothermic means it is going to release the energy in the form of heat, that is called exothermic. And what happens? Surrounding temperature increases because of this heat is going to be released, right? So in saturated solution, the dissolution process will be what happens, that is called, if it is endothermic means the solubility should increase with rise in the temperature. If the saturated solution, if the exothermic is possible, then what happens, the solubility will decrease with increase in the temperature. So these will be effect on this solubility of the solid. That is last one, pressure. So pressure have no any significant effect on this solubility of the solids in liquids, because you know that. So the pressure usually in solids as well as liquids, they are incompressible. Let us discuss about the solubility of the gas in liquids. So you know that the gases are usually soluble in the liquids. So these are the main three factors which is going to be observed by the solubility of gases in liquid. First one, that is called nature of gas and solvent. You know that some of the gases like hydrogen gas, oxygen gas and nitrogen gas, these are dissolving water to the small extent, but some of this sulfur dioxide, ammonia and hydrogen chloride are highly soluble in water, they are less soluble in the water. So next one, effect of temperature. You know that the solubility of a gas in liquid always decreases with the increase in the temperature. So the best example is, you know, that aquatic species which are more comfortable in the cold water rather than the warm waters. And this effect of pressure, so mainly because in pressure is not applicable for solids as well as liquids mainly, but this is very much applicable for the gases, because the solids and liquids they are highly incompressible, whereas gases molecules they are highly compressible. So because of the under the pressure, I mean the solubility of a gas and liquid which goes on increases with the increase in the pressure. So this is main factors which affect on the gases in liquids. Let's discuss about the solubility of gas in liquids, that is called Henry's law. We are moving towards this Henry's law. So this Henry's law, which is solubility of the gas in liquids. So this law states that at a constant temperature, the solubility of a gas in liquid is directly proportional to the partial pressure of the gas present above the surface of the liquid. So this is a statement, or we are going to take this also statement. The partial pressure of a gas in a vapor phase, that is mole letter P, is proportional to the mole fraction of the gas in solution. You know the mole fraction, right? Then partial pressure is nothing but the pressure which is going to be exerted by a gas in a mixture. That is called partial pressure. So consider this second statement here. It has said the partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase, that is called small letter P, right? So this partial pressure which is going to directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas. So this is called mole fraction of the gas. This is the equation 1 I am going to consider according to the statement. Partial pressure directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas. In order to remove this proportion constant, I am going to write as this partial pressure, that is equal to Kh into X, capital letter X, that is called mole fraction. This Kh we are going to call as the Henry's constant. This is called Henry's law constant. This is called Henry's law constant, where P is the partial pressure, Kh is the Henry's law constant, X is the mole fraction of the gases. So this is an Henry's law. This is very important, and this is a simple plot against the partial pressure against the mole fraction of the gases. And different gases will have the different Kh values also. When you see the application of this Henry's law in our daily life, so that is, you know, you are familiar with that soft drinks, right, cold drinks, right? So what happens in that one? So in that soft drinks or soda water, the carbon dioxide will be there, that you know very well. So what happens, that they are going to increase the solubility of the carbon dioxide in these soft drinks or soda water. So water at the under high pressure, right? So when you are not going to take space under the high pressure, the carbon dioxide releases very easily, right? So that's why they are going to maintain that solubility of the carbon dioxide in these waters under the high pressure. So when you open that knob of that bottle, what happens? Slowly the pressure which is going to releases from the bottle, then it comes to the atmospheric pressure. So what happens? You are going to see one beautiful phenomenon, that is called effervescence of the carbon dioxide. Just imagine when you open that bottle, the effervescence of carbon dioxide will come. That is called, applications of the Henry's law. And one more you are very familiar with, that is scuba divers, right? they usually they will die, fell in the underwaters. So you know that underwater will be nothing but the high pressure will be there. So at that high pressure they are going to swim, means the what happens that increases the solubility of the atmospheric gases in the blood. They when they after that finishing their process, when they come to the surface of that earth's surface, what happens, slowly the gases will be releases, slowly the pressure will be releases. When the underwater to at the surface of the earth, what happens, the pressure will be goes on decreases. Dissolved atomic gas in the blood, that is also decreases. So that causes one medical condition that is called bends, which is called very much dangerous to that their life. So to avoid this condition, the tank which is going to be used by the scuba divers, that is diluted with some helium, that is called helium, 11.7% of that helium, and around 56% of that nitrogen gas, and some of the 32.1% of the oxygen, they are going to fill it with their tanks, right? So to avoid these some dangers to their life. So this is an important application of the Henry's law.